everyone, and thank you for joining in. We are at the day two of Bharat Mobility Global Expo 2025, and here we are in conversation with Mr. Arvind Goel, the chairman of Tata Autocomp. Here, thanks for joining us, sir.
Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir. I want to understand the larger trends in the auto component space. There's lots of evolving trends with terms of technology and technological shifts happening globally in the automotive industry. With that, moving along, how do you see the auto component industry specifically moving ahead?
See, certainly, if you look at Europe and US, China, every country has a different speed at which the technology will change. Electrification would be there. And Europe, certain countries are talking of 2030, 2035, 2040. So it will shift to electrification. The battery technology is changing, hydrogen technology is changing. So there will be a major shift there. And also with the more autonomous stuff coming into the vehicle or the software driven vehicles, so electronics would play a very, very major role. So I think this trend is there. How fast the shift will happen, etc., depends upon how well these countries are able to produce themselves, how much they are dependent on which part of the world, and how to manage international supply chain and how to manage their local industry. All that will play a major role. But directionally, this is going to happen. Same way as far as India is concerned, the electrification is going to happen. Certainly, three-wheelers and two-wheelers will be much faster. Passenger cars would be not at a massive pace because the larger OEMs in India are still dabbling with it. Certainly, Tata Motors and Mahindras have taken a lead. Tata Motors is certainly far ahead than everybody else. So overall, if the auto industry passenger car grows by 6-7% a year, there is also a growth of ICE engines for at least till end of this decade. So I think the ICE engine suppliers can be comfortable with what they are doing, and they can look at more export opportunities because international ICE engine suppliers will have difficulty on low volume basis. So opportunities are huge, and ADAS will play a big role, connected vehicles will play a role, software driven vehicles will all come in step by step. So it all depends upon how fast one can shift into the technology.
Right, and we have lately seen the electrification trend, bit slowing globally, not in India. In India, it's not even reached, that growth level. But globally, we have seen it has slowed a bit in the last year or two. So, how do you see that and the China plus one strategy playing out for India, going ahead?
See, it
For
is.
the for the Indian auto component market, probably.
See, certainly it slowed down to some extent. There have been geopolitical issues behind it, and also there are a lot of pressure from the local industry. However, directionally it is going to go in that direction. And in India, certainly if you look at, if it makes economic sense without any support from government, then it works much better. So three-wheelers and two-wheelers to some extent work without much major support. Four-wheelers and all will need a big support for many years. Everywhere in the world it has happened in the same manner. So it will shift, and India will also have a huge opportunity to export because this is the first time technology-wise you will be at the same levels internationally. So I think there's a good opportunity.
And if you have to share outlook for the year 2025 for the Indian auto component industry as a whole, how do you see that going along?
I think they should grow at 6-7% minimum, and it also depends whom do you supply. If you supply for a particular car, if it's doing much better. Two-wheelers, if you are a major player, you certainly is doing better. If you are only commercial vehicle supplier, it may not grow to that extent. But there is also aftermarket is possible, export is possible. So it depends upon how you have structured your company.
And do you see any specific headwinds for the upcoming year?
I don't see a major headwind because I don't see any major elections now. election years are over, and so the per capita income is also growing, and if it is expected that in the budget a major thrust on the infrastructure will be there again, and that would again give a good movement.
Right, I was just coming to the budget. It's less than 2 weeks now. So, what are your expectations from the government for the upcoming budget?
So see, I would say that they should really continue to do major investments in infrastructure. Government is bound to spend a huge amount of money on capex to start the cycle of private sector investing as well. They should look at incentivizing R&D and innovation within the companies, because India is spending much lower in the R&D and innovation as compared to other parts of the world, and continue with support onto the electric vehicles and hydrogen vehicles, and also continue with the PLI schemes.
All right. And just outside your stall, we saw the camera grades that you're producing indigenously. So, how do you see that demand evolving, going ahead? And could you also share the production schedule for the same?
No, camera, each car has a camera. Everybody imports. It's not the same camera which is used. It has to be configured with a lot of stuff, with the vehicle electronics, vehicle instrument clusters, and things like that. And so, what we are developing is developing one for one OEM.